Hey everybody, yes I am back. I got CI on location at the studio, Studio D I believe we're in. This is TPIM SR Live. I'm your host, TruePowerIsMine. Once again, a local rapper, uh, entrepreneur, and a brother that's spiritual as well. You know what I'm saying? So I got brother CI in the house. How's it going, brother?
What's up, brother? True Pies Mine. It's your boy CI. Yeah. What's happening? What's happening to all the listeners out there too? Glad to be here.
Exactly. I want to start off, man, by saying it's been one hell of a week, bro.
I see
A
that.
lot of stuff's been going. I mean, I've been making videos like I'm doing alchemy, just beating them out. So I just wanted to take a minute and have a real conversation, just a real laid back, honest about the way the country's going,
Sure.
about how we have a Dito dumb or else Dito dumber and dumbest. All right, and what I mean is we have it's got to probably be Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders on the same ticket.
Right.
That's probably gonna be the ticket.
Right.
All right. And then you're gonna have Trump, and God knows he might stick with Pence, or who knows who he'll put in his. But don't you see? No matter how hard we try to get away from it, we're still gonna have to choose between geriatric white folks to run our country.
Right. There's no way of getting around it too. And if you look at, the Democratic Party's got over 20 different candidates. Probably the most in history, and it's narrowing down where they really want to see Joe Biden versus Donald Trump. It's going to be. It's almost like you watch the same television show with the same people, but it's geared for them to still stay in power. One time in history we had the first black president, President Barack Obama.
I was just about to say Abraham Lincoln. He did more for blacks than Obama, but go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
So yeah, man. So I think it's the way that it's set up is just going to be between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. But like I said, man, there's a lot of strong candidates in the Democratic Party if they want to further their change.
Well, let me ask you about Mr. Sanders. All right.
Mm-hmm.
As a melanated man in North America, how does it make you feel when a political candidate, right off the cuff, I don't believe in reparations for the blacks?
Well, you're going to lose the black vote. The way that is. And Bernie Sanders, he recently just got booed at a forum down in Houston. It was called the Women of Color. And they've had all these women that are involved in politics. And they've had some of the Democratic candidates on there. They had Kamala Harris. They had Elizabeth Warren. They had Bernie Sanders. And when Bernie Sanders, he drug his foot when it came to the black agenda, because that's asked, by the different, for the different candidates. They asked, like, what's your black agenda for America?
I don't have.
Bernie Sanders, he's like, well, I marched with Dr. King, and then he got booed. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's not going to work
Anymore.
No, it's not going to work anymore.
Because don't forget, at that time, the black people were so desperate to be, oh, Brother Matt, will you just like me? I just want to be liked, please.
Yeah.
Oh, you, Mr. King, let me shine your shoes, boss. That's where they were at. And we're not that type of black folk no more.
No.
Thank God. Thank you, Most High.
Right.
For that. So what about, now Joe hasn't come out with none of the racial stuff yet, but he is Catholic. Give him a minute. How do you feel about Joe Biden if you and say your daughter or you or your woman was at a function with Joe Biden and he just kind of brushes you off to the side and starts hands and your kid and your wife? How would that make you feel?
It would be very uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? The thing is with Vice President Biden, your past catches up with you. You know what I'm saying? He's going to have a tough road to go anyway because, he took a different stance when it came to Anita Hill.
Yes.
When she was going through with, Clarence Thomas at the time. So he stepped on that. And then the whole thing with the segregation, like with the schools in Pennsylvania or wherever, he's going to run into a real difficult time um, running, even though the Democrats, he's the front runner now because they're going back to the same old system. But touching somebody and hugging on people, I mean, it makes them,
Uncomfortable.
uncomfortable too. So it wouldn't be, it would just be very strange and weird.
Let me shut off this air conditioner. I just don't want to have this on the feedback. Sorry about that, she's done it.
So I think it's going to be a difficult task for the Democratic Party um, to find. I mean, they're like I said, they want Joe Biden to be the front runner on stuff, but I think that you can't just keep going on with the same old system.
But they want to. They want to because of the fact that, let's face the reality, we are becoming a truly disenfranchised voting bloc.
Yes.
We have black conservatives going their route for whatever reason. You have the gay blacks going their route for whatever reason. So no one's really coming together in a political format to really address anything collectively.
Right.
And we all know the term laissez-faire. I give you something and you give me something.
Right.
But because of our ununification, and this is built in, man. This has been built in ever since the whips on our backs have stopped.
Absolutely.
All right. And then we start turning to, oh, you're a light brother. Oh, you're a dark brother. Oh, you got kinky hair. Oh, no, you got good hair. All this divisive shit. And now we're really right here where we should be at, And like the chatter said there, Keith, the presidential process was put in place to cause confusion that we're seeing right now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I both know, because we're politically astute, that no matter how hard we campaign for whoever, no matter how many votes I get you and everybody else I know to vote for this guy, we can be null and void by what? The Electoral College.
Right.
All right. Until we understand and really visualize there is no political solutions to our problems.
No, there's not.
Just an economical one.
Yeah.
Now, I know that reparations been tossed around piecemeal and all that. The lack of strength from division breeds apathy. And, well, now look who gets... Yes. We're living in a situation right now where, and you're in the entertainment industry, but, you're not, part of the, the little sub-cliques. You're just doing your thing above water. Now, and I know, if you started coming out with a different sound, like more of a pro-gay, homosexual sound, you go right to the top.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that you're black, you're male, and you would be supporting the gay agenda. But because you support family, you support standing on yourself, being independent, basically, like true freedom shit, it's difficult.
Yeah.
Reason why? Because there's no area for a straight black man in the society.
Right. They
need you to be, no, man, Tyler Perry Moore is cool, or whoever the fuck he is, and the she-male, oh God, RuPaul, talking like, yeah, or Jenna, and all this, and that shit ain't cool. It ain't cool from our point of view because it's not productive to what we're trying to build. I mean, I thought we're trying to build a nation here of people. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And not saying that homosexuals can't build a nation of people. I'm not saying that. Look at the Greek Empire and all that. Not saying they were all homosexuals. But I'm saying that the way it's set up now, because of the diseases and all that tied to that type of lifestyle, we got so much on our plates already. Why do we have to, basically sell out and act that way just to get on? Mm-hmm. Look at Smollett. That you use that cell phone, call up the cops, talking about somebody beat me up over here in this field over here. And They get up here, they don't see no scuffle marks, they don't see nothing. And what do you think they got happen to you? Man, they're gonna knock you over here. We gotta take him over here to the hospital because he's hurt now.
Yep.
All right. So when you're traveling around the country, are you seeing more of a racial divide nowadays? More so than back in the old days?
Well, when I travel throughout the country and do shows and events, I see a lot of diversity. We've been to Los Angeles, We've been to New York. We've been to St. Petersburg, Florida. We've been to Houston, Texas. We've been to Wichita, Kansas.
What about like at the little gas station or diner before you get to the main event? Do you notice like little racial elements out, like in the hotel and shit?
Depending on what state you're in. You know what I'm saying? Like if you go to Mississippi or some of the shows that we done down south, I mean, you still feel segregation just like you do in Missouri. Like when we go to California
Mm-hmm.
and then when we come back here, we realize it, but we realize it on how segregated everything in Missouri still is.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Especially in my neighborhood where I'm from, where I'm born and raised at in Crystal City, Missouri. I mean, it's separated. Once you cross the tracks, you got certain people that live
This
over
way.
there, and you got certain people that live over this way. And the people that live over this way, we have the bad roads, we got trash. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we just gotta. It's just a bad element. So it depends on where you go.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and for just speaking for myself, depends on where you go, you'll feel that racial division.
They just said it's super bad in California, bro. Just left there from Indiana. You know, what people often say, you know, and I said it before, you know, California, the land of fruits and nuts. It's not real. It's kind of the land of right wing nuts and conservative fruits for sure.
Yeah.
You know, we got to understand this is a whole system that's in place. And a lot of us fail to realize this. We fail to see that there's a whole system in place.
Yes.
All right. And this system doesn't span just from New York to LA. You know, it doesn't span just from Chicago to Houston. No, it spans from London all the way back to London, all the way around, and up and down as well. What would you say would be our best bet on combating the system?
It would be impossible to combat the system. You know what I'm saying? Because us as Black Americans, we don't own nothing. You know what I'm saying? We don't own any natural resource companies. We don't own
Skyscrapers,
any forms of technology. We don't own any corporations. We don't own any type of the political aspect of it. You know, and if you look at what's going on in St. Louis, I mean, people are getting killed up there every single day, every 10
but that's been
minutes.
for years. That's for the past 30, 40 years. It's really been like that.
And the only time that we come together is we expect too much of our leaders and our icons to bail us out.
Mhm.
If you notice one thing in politics, it's the same old system where you got to be a Harvard law student or you have to be a CEO or president of a corporation, somebody that's affiliated with Wall Street. That hasn't worked. When people talk about trickle down economics, yeah, it's trickling down to the rich. It ain't getting down to people on our end. So to answer your question, brother, I mean, we're not going to be able to beat the system because I truly believe, and this is just my opinion, the things that we do to each other as Black Americans, we did that to what was what we did to each other on the plantation. It's like when a runaway slave ran away from the plantation, what did the white slave owner do? He sent another Black slave to capture or kill that
or
slave.
the Indians.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, we're not going to be able to beat the system. We don't have, you're not going to be able to make up the life expectancy of a Black man is 76 years old. You're not going to be able to make up what was taken away from you 450 years ago in 76 years. Our parents came up during the civil rights era. Our parents came up during segregation. And now, since a lot of them are older, they're seeing what we have to go through. It's still the same thing, but we're able to see somebody get killed in real time. You know, so much for body cameras.
Yeah. Oh, God.
You know what I'm saying? That just shows you, you know, what they can do in real time. So we ain't gonna be able to beat the power structure unless we I wouldn't say necessarily come together, because that's just a myth. We'll never come together. No matter how bad it gets, we'll never come together.
Now let's talk about this, brother. Do you think the reality of us not coming together is because of the self-hate thing that was taught to us, or do you think there's something inside of us like some sort of curse or something that we don't want to, that when I'm walking down the street, right? If you was a white boy, I'd be like, yeah, I don't want to, that when I'm walking down the street, right? If you was a white boy, I'd be like, hey, how you doing, buddy? Blah, blah, blah. But, because you're melanated, oh man, nigga, what do you want? Blah, blah, blah. Why do you think that's that?
It's a little bit of both, man. It's self-hate, and we just been programmed. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we have self-hatred because we judge each other, dark-skinned people versus light-skinned people, and sometimes we become submissive to our masters, i.e., whether they were on the plantation, to our masters, i.e., whether they were on the plantation, people that are in Washington, the police. It's like strangers will support you faster than people that you know.
Your own family.
Strangers see the potential because they know what you'll become. But strangers see the potential because they know what you'll become. But people like your friends or family,
they're gonna keep you on stupid.
They're not, because they want you to do good, but never better than them. They don't want you to surpass that. And another thing is, we have too much of competition within each other. There's a lot of people who are in silent, have too much of competition within each other. There's a lot of people who are in silent competition even with you, with your show. There's a silent competition with me in the music industry. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to come out and say it.
Right.
But there's people that you know that's known you for 25, 30 years, maybe even longer. And they're trying 30 years, maybe even longer. And they're trying to see what you got going on. It's that silent competition thing. And self-hate. That's the reason why, like I mentioned earlier about St. Louis,
tragedy.
Man, we're killing each other.
Tragedy.
Right by right. I mean, left and right. I mean, it's each other.
Tragedy.
Right by right. I mean, left and right. I mean, it's like whether it's the neo-Nazis or the Ku Klux Klan or whatever opposition groups, they're sitting back. Well, shoot, we don't have to go through.
We don't have to get dirty, our hands dirty, or nothing,
and mow them down like a field or grass. They're just taking them down like a field or grass. They're just taking them out on their own, so we don't have to do the work.
And then when the last of the people are left, that's when we can swoop in. Because don't forget, as we're killing ourselves, the media is still bastardizing who we are.
Yes.
So when media is still bastardizing who we are.
Yes.
So when the typical okie doke out here finally gets the green light, go and exterminate these people. He's like, okay, I'm not really exterminating human beings. I'm exterminating fucking savage animals.
Right.
Because I got all this history of them being savage animals.
Right.
Because I got all this history of them being savage. This is what we have to stop. We have to seize who we are and the perception of who we are. Not all of us live urban. Not all of us live rural. Not all of us live urban. Not all of us live rural. Not all of us eat certain foods. We are a very diverse group of people.
Right.
And it seems like they always cherry pick. They always cherry pick the negative shit. That's what we're about. But they'll never cherry pick the good shit, saying that's what we're about.
If you look back, like, have you noticed when, okay, all these things has been going on. We've been having these mass shootings.
No. Yeah.
We've been having people getting killed at the synagogue. We have the New Zealand stuff that hit the mosque and everything. Okay, if the FBI knows in this country that statistically white nationalism and neo-Nazi groups and white supremacist sympathizers have risen over 80%, they know what the root cause of it is,
right?
But they're not going to do anything about it. And secondly, but they're not going to do anything about it. And secondly, it's like, have you noticed
the feed is chopping up? Oh, is it better, or it looks like it's stable? I mean, that's why I almost wanted to just do it off deal and then upload it. Well, right. let's continue this and then upload it. Well, right. let's continue this. Pray that. Fuck. I can open up this door. That might not block the signal as much.
Well, like, it's really crazy. Have you noticed? Well, like, I mean, it's really crazy. Have you noticed what they'll do? What they'll do is they won't never determine what is quote unquote domestic terrorism. The only way that they'll terrorism is if it's somebody from the Middle East, or if terrorism is if it's somebody from the Middle East, or if it's a black person.
But when's the last time we had a Middle Eastern terror attack since close 9/11?
It hasn't been none. We haven't had that many.
So over the past damn near 20 years, all right, well, 3 more years or what? 2 more years, it'll be 20 years. Well, 3 more years or what? 2 more years, it'll be 20 years. You're saying that there hasn't been no Middle Eastern people straight up, you know what I'm saying?
Well, it did have in what was last year before last, they had the Middle Eastern guy in New York with the Home Depot truck running
Kansas
over.
City, Missouri in the house.
Guy in New York with the Home Depot truck running
Kansas
over.
City, Missouri in the house. Hey Barbara,
What's
welcome
up,
to the show.
Kansas City? What's up?
Hopefully the feed's not choppy chop, but
but have you noticed, like, when before the black man is even charged, they'll show his picture.
Oh, and it's a mean one. He's scowl.
Just charged. They'll show his picture.
Oh, and it's a mean one. He's scowl.
Just like that. Like that. They'll show before the man is even charged, they'll show his picture out.
Right.
But let it be one of these white supremacist groups, you won't know who they are. They won't show their pictures, and they'll just give them a pat on the back. You know what I'm saying? I mean that, but it's the propaganda. Give them a pat on the back. You know what I'm saying? I mean that, but it's the propaganda that's used by the media that are showing these people. See, I told you that black people are evil and dark and dangerous, and they're savage beings. It's the same thing that Adolf Hitler did
to the Jews.
Like when it's the same thing that Adolf Hitler did
to the Jews.
Like when the media of today and yesterday is the same thing, because what they do is they kill the image of the person first,
right?
And then when the physical carnage comes in and they kill that person, then it's validated. That's what happens here in America. And they kill that person, then it's validated. That's what happens here in America. Everything is validated by the media,
right?
You know what I'm saying? And it's just a lot of things that black people in this country, we're not paying attention to these things. They put this country, we're not paying attention to these things. They put these distractions in front of us to cloud our judgment, to cloud our vision. And then as we're sitting here speaking right now, Donald Trump and the powers that be, because we have to remember, the people that you see in Washington are not the people. We have to remember, the people that you see in Washington are not the people that rule the world.
They're puppets.
They're the front runners of the secret society and the people who really control this world.
Right.
So and I think that a lot of the political system, like when you look at what happened in 2016, it was all the political system. Like when you look at what happened in 2016, it was already predicted that Trump was going to win anyway, because they looked at who was going to make them more money and who was going to put a 2%, 3% tax on the rich. Well, we know Hillary's going to tax the corporations, people in Wall Street. Well, we know Hillary's going to tax the corporations, people in Wall Street and these big banks like JP Morgan and Chase Financial and Lehman Brothers and Goldman Sachs, all these people. But people don't realize that Wall Street owns Washington.
Right. It's not the other way.
That Wall Street owns Washington.
Right. It's not the other way around.
No, it's not.
Wall Street dictate what Washington will do.
And these big oil refineries, these big oil companies like BP, ExxonMobil, you know what I'm saying?
And most of those are still directly run by European powers.
Yeah. I'm saying.
And most of those are still directly run by European powers.
Yeah.
All right. So we have to understand that flag behind you is a East Indian Trading Company flag with, just basically glittered up. And we got to understand the purpose of this nation. Was to ensure that peasant Europeans coming in from Europe had the means to be self-sufficient and had the ability to readily receive property.
Right.
You know, because it had the ability to readily receive property.
Right.
You know, because it was supposed to be the pursuit of not happiness, but the pursuit of property. But they changed it to happiness because you know, they figured us peasants will one day get it together, and that's concerning. You know, there's been a lot of talk about the Constitution. That's concerning. You know, there's been a lot of talk about the Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
How would you feel about going back to a constitutional way of governing things more?
Well, like I said, I mean, I don't think, and this is just my own opinion, I believe that I don't know about that whole direction because the Constitution had no. I don't know about that whole direction because the Constitution had no intervention from the black man while we were enslaved and on the plantations. If you look at the Constitution, who wrote it? Bunch
White
of old
boys.
men that were slave masters. You know, I mean, they thought that we were always going to be on the plantation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They didn't see a Abraham Lincoln coming. They didn't see a Harriet Tubman coming. They didn't see a Madam C.J. Walker coming. You know, somebody had to take a stand on that. And then the way that Congress is acting now, they're treating the Constitution like toilet paper. That's exactly what they're doing. All the basic principles of government and all that stuff like that. Now we have to distinguish what is a law and what is government. They expect for us as Black Americans to tap dance to a certain tune. Dun, 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 dun,
Stand
dun.
up.
Okay, but dun, dun,
Stand
dun.
up.
Okay, but they didn't do it for us.
They're not going to do it for us either. They're not.
You know,
you
so
gotta understand. And this is the trippiest part. We're literally prisoners of war.
that's
Prisoners of war.
That's
And
that's
the
what
war
we
has
are.
never been completed.
Right. It's never been. It's not. The war it hasn't came to an end.
Right. And we're still here.
And then like I was telling, I went up to the
Here.
And then like I was telling, I went up to the barbershop up in St. Louis, man, maybe about a couple months ago, and we were talking about different things, what's going on in our country, Russia and all that stuff. And I was like, and I said, this is my own opinion. I said, you do realize that Black folks are part of this whole Russia conspiracy. And they're like, well, what do you mean by that? I was like, well, because we're part of that. I was like, well, because we're part of the ethnic cleansing process. You know what I'm saying? And if you look at, since all this stuff is taking place, Black folks are getting killed. Folks are getting killed left and right at an astronomical rate.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So the Constitution has it's got a lot of loopholes in it, but the Constitution wasn't written for us. A lot of loopholes in it, but the Constitution wasn't written for us.
Exactly.
It was written to keep us in bondage. But because us as Black folks, there's a difference between liberty and freedom. Freedom is for those gunshots that we just
heard that? Tat, 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 tat.
And for somebody to come down the street, maybe wave a Nazi flag or
Confederate flag
or something like that. See, that's freedom. With freedom is the ability to operate with no external control.
Mm-hmm.
Liberty is the freedom to be able to operate be able to operate within an external control because we don't own nothing. You know what I'm saying? We have to stay within this box.
Right.
Once you step outside that box, you're subject to death. And that's the way that it's going to be, and that's the way that it's always. And that's the way that it's going to be, and that's the way that it's always going to be. So we could sit here and diagnose the prognosis of why we don't have this and why we don't have that. It's because this Constitution.
You wasn't meant to have it.
No. And the Constitution does not symbolize true freedom. It only symbolizes freedom for a certain group of people.
Exactly.
And if you notice, the United States has never been held accountable on a global scale court system, like you know how we had the Nuremberg trials and we had the Treaty of Versailles during World War II and all that. Well, America has never been held accountable for its crimes against humanity against Black Americans in this country.
Of
And
course.
then we have our brothers and sisters over in Africa. They know what's going on with us over here, and they have yet to came to our defense.
They can't. How are they going to come to anybody's defense? They can't even defend their own situations from colonization.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You know, we've done multitude of shows about how France, and speaking of France, it's funny. I talked to Roman a few days ago before you know, right now Paris, as we're talking, Paris is burning.
Right, with the Notre Dame.
No, the Notre Dame is a separate deal. The city itself is burning now because of massive riots over there. All right.
Right.
People are really getting people. I want to make sure my words are clear. As Europe is getting darker, more of these riots are going to occur.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the rioters, there's a certain profile that they're fitting, and I'll talk more about that later because we know that June 15th is fast approaching. And once again, I want everyone to be on board and understand when I say, you know, it's going to be the end of things. It's not going to be the end of this world per se, but there's going to be a radical change.
Yeah.
A radical change. And people don't see it coming. But just as sure as you heard that train engine over that hill, honk, honk, you know that train's coming through.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, there's a vicious, evil, wicked train. Oh, there's that owl coming our way. Mm-hmm. And we want to keep on playing these stupid games. You know, hey, did you see what such and such was doing? All this gossip shit that doesn't make nobody any better. All right. We need to. This is what we ultimately have to do if we want to survive. If we don't want to survive, then just enjoy the show, guys, as many as you can before it happens. But first, we got to get our minds right. We got to get our networks tight and up and running.
Right.
And then we have to have an in-game plan that is specifically tailored to our needs. Mm-hmm. Right now, we don't have no in-game plan. We got in-game reactions. Oh, yeah. Well, when I see the nuclear bombs, I'm going to duck and cover. Right. Or when I see this band of haters coming at me, I'm just going to hide in the attic. Mm-hmm. It ain't going to work.
Right.
They're going to burn down your house and burn your ass up in your attic.
Yeah.
You go out here in the streets, you know, don't forget, it wasn't the SS Waffen that picked up all the Jews. It was the local police department that picked them up and put them and sent. They had a system. You know, it wasn't just grab one guy and take his ass to the Dachau. It was grab this guy. He sits in the first holding pen. You grab more. It gets filled up. You put them on a truck. They go to another holding center. Yeah. You get more. Then they get on that damn train and then they go down the way.
Right.
You know, cultural nationality. Yes. You know, wait, you guys are repeating. So I don't know if the video here, I mean, it looks good from my end, but I don't know. So we'll just soldier on, guys, because it's very important to get this information out here while we still can, while we still have these tools available to us. And also, I suggest that, you know, if you guys want tape record any of these shows, rebroadcast them, absolutely go for it. You know, just tape it however you can and rebroadcast it, because it's really about getting this information out to everybody and having people do what? Think.
Right.
Just think about it, you know?
Right.
Because only fools rush in. Only fools rush in. If you don't know the whole tactical situation and you're rushing into it, trying to blaze guns, you end up shooting one of your own allies or one of your own people, or you probably end up shooting your full self. So we have to really be tactical with this, you know, since we have to recognize this, we're in the position of weakness. Sometimes it's better to surrender, regroup, rethink this out, get a little more tactics, and then do a push.
Right.
You know, but we got so many fools as quote unquote leaders. And once again, man, I think these people are suicidal. They don't want to lead nobody, but to their destruction. Come on, brother. See, I get your pistol. I get my pistol. We're going to go down here and show these people. Man, we go down there and just straight murdered.
Yeah.
Who benefited again other than the funeral parlor?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
We have to soldier We have to keep the fight. Like how some of these fools are. We won't be replaced. You know what
They
I'm
will
saying?
not replace us.
Yeah.
Right.
We need to have some sort of mantra like that we could chant for ourselves. Like, we will not be slaves no longer, or we refuse to acquiesce to your bullshit power, or liberation before education. Because if you're liberated, you don't need education. At least not the bullshit they're talking about.
Right.
All right. Growth is cognitive. Yes, it is cognitive. But
Yes.
growth requires time, and growth also requires the right environment so that the organism gets the resources it needs to blossom.
Right.
And I'm telling you, we're like plants, but instead of being put into lush, dark, rich, brown soil, they put us in fucking cement. Here, grow on that.
Right.
Now, some of us are just that hardy and we'll just take root and grow. But most of us, like any human being, or in this case, this scenario, a plant, you're just going to wither and die.
Right.
How many times have you heard of, and I'm asking this in general, how many times have you ever heard of a man dying in a bar and that bar is not shut down?
Yeah. It's crazy because, that bar, that man that was killed, which was a black man that was killed at that bar, the people who owned the bar were white. They did not close that bar down for investigation. They kept that bar going. That bar, it was open the next night.
That's sad, and once again, and this goes back to the system that we're all under. Now, I had made a statement the day that it came out that they went and desecrated yet another Egyptian tomb looking for secrets. All right. But really, they're just looking for gold and silver to rip out of the mouths. And I said, what would happen if I get a shovel and run up to Notre Dame and start digging down in there? And I'm an archaeologist. They'll lock my fool ass up. But, after I said that, 3 days later, the place burns?
Right.
All right. This is a universal reality that the paradigm shift in the universe is changing. The favorite one is no longer the favorite one. And I just want to let everyone know things are going to get crazier in the next few days. Do not be shocked with none of the stuff that's going to be rolling down. Mm-hmm. And also, just for everyone to know, on Friday, Mark from Anaheim and Rhonda Rocky Harper, unfortunately, we will not have a show with them because things have basically changed. Situations change. But I am going to still have a show on Friday. Mark has okayed me to use some of his material, so I'll do the best I can. And I hope you guys join me on that. I didn't mean to throw a promo in there, but I figured I might as well.
Shout out to brother Mark.
Yes, and the thing about it, do you feel, CI, that reparation is a part of the healing process for melanated people in the United States?
No, because I think we deserve so much more. It's the reparations is just, I feel like it would just be like a band-aid to just silence the pain for just a little bit, the pain and the destruction.
And then take the reparations away once we get addicted to them.
That's it. I mean, it'd be good because they give
Jews
the Jews $1 billion a year. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they compensate the Native Americans, and if you notice, a lot of people from overseas, like the Koreans and the Arabs, they come over here, and a lot of them are tax-free write-offs that could start businesses in our neighborhoods, things like that. So,
and how could you compete, even if you had the resources? How could you really compete with that, a taxation privilege that they get, and you don't as a true Native American, because you're a true Native American yourself.
Right.
You came out of your mom on this land.
Right.
All right. So, and your people went through some things.
Oh yeah.
So what I'm ultimately saying is, everyone's talking about, oh, we don't want no handouts, we don't want no blah blah blah. Well, that's well and good to say, but if everybody else in the neighborhood's getting a handout by the boy that ganked everybody in the neighborhood, how come you can't get a hand up as well?
Well, see, the thing is with the reparations. I mean, we have to be able to make up for 500 years of oppression. The reparations is good, but we need things on black and white and paper too. We need to hold our elected officials to accountability. These police officers who are just ready to aim and shoot and kill
Yeah.
an unarmed black man or woman at any point in time. So I think the reparations would be good. It's a good start. I mean, they've been talking about it for the last 100 something years, and it hasn't came to pass. And
And in reality, it's not like it shouldn't come to pass, but let's face it, I bet you there will be strings attached to it.
it will be. It will be. It will be. It's not going to be. Everything in America is not free.
Nothing.
Everything is not free. That cell phone that you have, or that camera,
Mm-hmm.
the good camera to do our show, that's not free. The lighting is not free. The air is not free. The grass is not free. Nothing, the water that we drink is not free. The gas that we put in our vehicles is not free. Everything has a price. And that's where we have to be careful as Black Americans. We have to be careful on thinking that we fit in with American prosperity.
But that goes back to us thinking, oh, brother, see, accept me, brother. I'm not a beast. Please accept me.
Mhm.
That's that sickness.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Hold on. And Judge Joe, what we need more of. Yeah, listen, is having these real conversations without some corporation. There's no product placement here, none of that stupid shit. We just want to be real with people. We just want to give people really intellectual hope, man.
Mm-hmm.
Big pimpin', think about it, brother. You have been lied to spiritually, you have been lied to politically, and you have been lied to socially.
Yep.
Now, how are you supposed to deal with all three of those very huge part of a human psyche with just nothing? Just, get over it, get over it, air. Too bad, too sad, man. Pull your fucking pants up, pull your fucking bootstraps, and but once again, how the fuck are you gonna strap up something when you don't have fucking boots?
Mm-hmm.
How are you gonna fucking pull your pants up when you might not even have pants?
Well, see, that's the problem with American prosperity. They think because they do it, they think that you can do it, and the fact that you can't do it, they look at us like, oh, well, you don't want to work, you don't want to hustle, you're lazy, you don't want to do nothing. Yeah, but there's some people we didn't ask to be brought into this stuff.
Right.
We didn't be at. We
and certainly
asked
didn't ask to keep this shit the way it is now.
And we have somebody in the White House, and we have to pay attention to this. We have somebody in the White House that is repositioning white supremacy. Like it's okay.
Well, he took him off the terror watch list.
Yeah,
right off the bat, the first thing in office. Our 7th president or 46, whatever. Bam. What's you gonna do? You're not going to Disney? Nope, not going to Disney World. Are you gonna go to a barbecue? Not going to a barbecue joint. I'm gonna take white nationalism off the terror watch list right off the bat.
Right.
And then you wonder why it grows exponentially.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're not even being populated with federal agents.
Right.
Like for instance, how many Black identity extremists have you ever met? I mean, just straight up hardcore, white or anybody non-Black hating brothers have you ever met that actually has guns and an organization to do anything? Now, I met a couple of crazy brothers that, had a certain opinion this way or that way.
Yeah.
But they did not have an organization behind them.
Right.
All right. So when we use terms like Black identity extremists, hell, you could be considered one. I could be considered one because we have the audacity to want to uplift the people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we have every reason to be angry. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of like we was going back to the whole reparations thing. It's like, it would only be like just a Band-Aid. The Band-Aid was like, if your kid falls down riding a bike, they scratch up, put a Band-Aid on it. Yeah, they may cry, but put a Band-Aid on it, put some ointment on it. That's okay. Well, that's what is still going on right now. It's still the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't own nothing. We don't run nothing.
Yeah. And this chat right here says it best. We lost our village mindset.
That is true.
We lost it. We lost it. We lost it. But you gotta understand, it wasn't that we did this consciously. There were situations, and life was so rough. You had better lose that mindset. You know what I'm saying? Like if me and brother Ci, let's say the deck we're on is not a deck. This is our holding pen, and he's over here talking about, yeah, brother, I'm gonna escape. Well, I better be banging on this door, master, master. He's gonna escape, and then they beat him half to death to give me a extra plate of a slop to eat, and I feel like I came up.
Another thing too, like it's interesting because I was talking to a few friends of mine the other day, and we was talking about. I brought up the terminology of gaslighting, and they were like, "Gaslighting? What does that mean?" Gaslighting means where the truth becomes a lie, and a lie becomes the truth. If I say it's an apple,
Right.
and it's red, and they got green apples, but it's still an apple, you may say, "Oh, it's a banana," knowing that's an apple, but you'll say that it's a banana. That's gaslighting. That's what Donald Trump is doing, where the truth becomes the lie and the lie becomes the truth. So I'm sitting there in my friend's house and I was looking he's very artistic, sitting there. There's a book called Dr. Seuss Goes to Germany.
Oh God.
And this book has the Nazi symbol on the top, and it's got the German
Iron Cross
with the eagle symbol
Oh.
on the coat of arms of the shield.
Rothschild, the Rothschild symbol.
And it's got Hitler with the face that's drawn in with Dr. Seuss. And it's really just bizarre. So I'm sitting there reading it. It talks about communism, it talks about nationalism, it talks about socialism and all this stuff like that. And it's so crazy how all of that stuff is still relevant today. And it's the first time Dr. Seuss goes to Germany. And it's just it had all this bizarre propaganda in it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was somebody's wet dream there. That was some sort of private public. I'm sure Dr. Seuss isn't down with Mein Kampf, you know what I'm saying? But I can see it. It 1 and It 2 throws you in the oven just the same as It 3, right. Fuck that. But, it's funny that you mentioned Germany. And when we look at today, the society, how you said, a guy come through here waving a German flag. Mm-hmm. Well, at what point do you see a melanated man running through here, and let's say he's actually is from the Middle East, but he's melanated, and he says, "This is my heritage," and he's holding up an ISIS flag. How many people would support that, do you think?
He would be shot and killed just like that.
But that's his heritage, though.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that seems so unfair, doesn't it? I mean,
it does seem unfair.
Is there a certain time period you think maybe 50 years from now he'd be safe with the ISIS flag, or do you think it'll be forever off limit?
The thing is with ISIS does not stand for the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria. It stands for Israeli Secret Intelligence Services.
Well, we can't say that. Shh. We want the Mossad to come over here with some choppers now.
And it's like the United States has always been good at deceiving the people.
Right.
They'll sit up there. The NRA is having turmoil, even though they're getting guns and money from Russia. You know what I'm saying? And it's like,
but aren't they supposed to be fighting the communists?
We got communists now. Like, look at our government. Our government is communist. And it was funny. We were sitting there, and my boy Big J, and we were sitting there, and his mom. It's funny. His mom was once a liberal or whatever, and then she got with this guy that was in the Marines, and now she's a hardcore conservative.
Typical woman, just follow the man, whatever he is, she'll become.
And we were sitting there, and I just made a joke. I was like, he mentioned some about he couldn't think of what the word socialist. And I said, you do know if we was in World War II, they would kill us both, right? He goes, I said, because we're socialists. He's like, oh yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. And people don't understand that communism is a Jewish ideology.
Well, yeah, as well as all the isms. When you break down all the isms, you might as well say Jewish. Mm-hmm. All right, because that's what's behind that. That's what's promoting and pushing it. And these isms do one thing: they ensure that the common people never unite. Yeah. Because my ism is not the same as your ism.
And then I like, I did a podcast show um, a couple nights ago, and we were talking about the situation that's going on in Caracas, Venezuela.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, what you see there is going to happen here. It's going to happen here.
Yeah.
When you see military trucks, 'cause we sat there and watched this stuff in real time, where these military trucks, armored vehicles, ran the people over.
Yeah, I saw the mower, the big old mower, the big ass
Yeah,
truck. Just
and then it
ran.
had like the things where it could shoot out the flames and the water and all this
There's
stuff. I
flames.
mean, and you see people flying back and stuff like that. That's exactly what's going to happen here in the United States, because when we went up to Ferguson and saw the events, what happened after Mike Brown was shot and killed, it looked like a war zone. I mean, I've never seen so many armored vehicles and tanks and weapons. People that, I mean, they had people with masks. You didn't know who they were.
Right.
They try to sit up there and say, well, the quote unquote protesters were setting buildings and businesses on fire and stuff.
Right.
It was the police that was doing that. I have a sister who was very active in protesting during Michael Brown, and I have a picture of her. She looked white as a ghost because she got hit with tear gas.
Tear gas. Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? She said it burned like hell. So, and it was always smoky, and people were running
Just
for
think
their
if you
lives.
lived there.
And it was like we lived. It was like you lived in Lebanon.
Yeah, you were under siege. It was under siege.
And it's Brother Mark made a good point that on one of y'all shows that y'all did back in January after the new year.
Mm-hmm.
It was you, Brother Mark, and there was another brother on there. But anyway, he said that United States has been under martial law since 2001. And I think, like, now where I live at, this is just my own hypothetical thing. Where I live at, our Walmart is getting ready to close down.
Really?
So it makes sense. People at the border, Big Head Trump was sitting up there talking about, oh, we'll release the bad hombres in sanctuary cities. So with Walmart shut down, if you reverse the letters, martial law, MART star law. They got them in Seattle, Washington. They got them in Oregon. They got them in Montana. They got them in Texas. You know what I'm saying? They're selling out and closing these Walmarts down to put a full operational facility where they can dope up the kids, they can rape the women, they can kill the men to keep them from reproduction.
Mm-hmm.
They have stormtroopers outside, things like that. And I'm like, I feel like people aren't paying attention on what's going on. They're not recognizing what is going on. It's right in front of us
every time,
every single day, but nobody's talking about it.
They can't.
Nobody's paying attention.
Because most people, let's face it, unless it directly affects them personally, and I'm not talking about whatever, they don't give a rat's ass.
No.
All right. They'll, why should I, brother? Why should I come and deal with your madness, knowing that as long as I stay quiet, the people that are hitting you up right now ain't even gonna fuck with me. That's how they thinking. But I'm telling you, the fucked up way of thinking like that, as soon as they're finished with you, I'm telling you, you think I'm lying. As soon as they finish with you, they're coming right after me.
Right.
Literally.
Right.
But you keep on playing your game. You keep on thinking because you're so nice or you're so religious or you're so honest that somehow that's gonna keep you out of the fucking oven. Hansel and Gretel, you're fucked. The witch, she already knows to play. She's got to put your monkey ass in the motherfucker because you've been sitting there eating the candy. You've been sitting there eating a gingerbread house for so fucking long.
Right.
It fucked up your head, fucked up your body. Half of the motherfuckers brothers out here, the older ones, all got diabetes.
Yeah.
All got hyper. You ain't fighting shit.
Right.
Shit,
right.
You don't get that insulin, your ass is taken out.
And then, like, especially, in the music industry, we kind of talked about some things, like, I guess you can apply it to politics too. Like, there's certain levels that you have to go through if you want to be famous, or if you want to be rich, or you want to be successful. There's certain levels that you have to go through to get to where you want to be through the secret society. I've always been the type of person that always went against the grain. I've always been the type of person who's like, if you tell me no, I'm gonna do it that much more. Like
Mm.
I have,
They call that hard head when I was growing up.
yeah, you know what I'm saying. But you know, it's like then if you look at the music industry and the movie industry when it comes to black people in it, it's become so much of them trying to feminize
It's a minstrel show.
everything. You know, it's like it's certain places where I have to go to buy my jeans because everywhere I go now it's skinny jeans, it's tight shirts, it's you know,
Effeminate.
yeah. So when they feminize all of these things and whatever they got going on right now, there's people that are getting ready to wage a war against us. So if our defenses are down,
Or non-existent.
It's easy to take over. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? And that's the reason why they say, yeah, go ahead and smoke that cigarette. Go ahead and eat that fast food. Go ahead and drink that alcohol. Go ahead and
Eat that pork.
yeah, do this and do that. So your health is going to be declined. Then they're
Mhm.
feminizing us at the same time. It's easy to see that Sherman tank come
Shit.
through, or that Russian tank come through and take us, take it over. So there's certain levels in this game that people aren't paying attention. I keep up what's going on every single day. I watch. I don't always get all my research from the news, but I turn it on just to see what they're talking about
Mhm.
and to kind of laugh. Because at one point in time, these major news corporations were owned by Hollywood corporations like your Time Warner, your Atlantic,
Right.
Sony, Paramount Pictures, Columbia, etc. So I
News
feel like
Corp.
that, and this is another thing too that that the media is not bringing out. In Indiana, I have friends that live in Indiana, which is the racist state, probably. Well, one of the racist states,
Thank you, Mike Pence.
and they're still doing public lynchings. Media has not talked about public lynchings still to this day.
Well, it was always up until 1961 that some of the last slaves were actually freed in this great state of Mississippi.
Right.
All right. So when we're looking at these issues, we got to understand the timeline that many of us think should be operating on. Totally wrong. Totally just throw that shit out the window.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. There's still slavery going on right now in these United States. You know what it's called? Sex slavery.
Right.
All right. Right now, there's some little kid or some little woman, maybe even a dude, tied up. Somebody's literally right now as I'm talking, somebody's getting raped or receiving stuff against their will.
Yeah.
And they can't run away. And the only way out of that lifestyle, you know what they do to sex slaves once they get finished fucking them? You know how they retire? They usually get their throat slit and thrown into the fucking water.
Yeah.
That's typically what happens.
Yeah.
So we got to understand, there's no reason why we should have slavery anywhere in the world.
Right.
If we're supposed to be spreading democracy, how the fuck can we have slavery? You're going to fucking fight these people for oil? And because this is what people are saying. You'll fight these people for oil. You'll fuck with these people for diamonds. You'll fuck with these people for rare earth elements. But that this country over here has sex slaves in it, but you ain't going to touch it. Because a lot of your business owners and your business rich ass, punk ass, perverted ass business motherfuckers go to this little country and fuck those kids and shit. And then they come back with all these weird ass diseases.
And another thing too, which is really, really crazy about America. It's like, okay, so we have China, Israel, Russia, Saudi Arabia. Okay. So we have those countries right there, and I just use those for just an example. Well, it's kind of like we tell we project this image of the quote unquote bad people, which are typically dark-skinned people. So if you're dark-skinned,
you're bad.
You're automatically bad. You're automatically the enemy.
Right.
And
because we know you're a desperate little piece of shit.
And we'll kill you. And it's
or at
like
least torture you.
We put up this image that all of these people from these countries are bad, but we still trade with them. We built a $60 million, maybe close to $1 billion Boeing plant over in Saudi. I have a friend whose dad retired from Boeing that worked over there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like we have the Israel has the same technology that we got. If we develop a F-17
We got
bomber,
treaties, give it to them.
so it's kind of like, since if there's tension between the Arabs and the Jews,
The Arabs already know.
the thing is, it's like when it comes time for Israel to buy those planes, they got to go to Saudi to get them. It's like, shh, don't let nobody know we're here. Don't let nobody know we're here. But because we have to put on this image that we're enemies, even though that we're brothers, and we come from the same place. You know, we have to put up this image that we're still enemies.
Not those Jews, though. Okay, you're correct. From the Bible speaking, the Jews or the Hebrew Israelites of the Bible and the Muslims of the Bible, yes, they are brothers. Right. But the Jews running Israel today, my brother, are not their brothers, genetically speaking.
No,
these are converts from Europe, and that's what it is. Mm-hmm. All right. That's why if you're a black ass Jew from Ethiopia, get the fuck out. Oh, yo, you can come in here, Salam, but you're gonna take your little monkey ass down here to the weakest part of the city and live down there like in the old part of the city, damn near that motherfuckers were living thousands of years ago. Right. That's the play.
And they racist. They make them use contraception,
and they sterilize them.
You know.
Yeah, because they don't want that darkness to fuck with. Don't forget, they're not Jews, dude. They're Europeans. That's what. Let's just say it like it is, man. They're not Jews. All right. The whole temple and all the shit's a gag because these people are not the people spoken of in the Bible, so they would not really be in a position to receive God's blessing for fulfilling the prophecy. In other words, it'd be like you saying, "Look, man, look, True. In 20 years, my daughter is going to come over here in your field, and God's going to give her this land. She's going to build a temple over here, right? In 20 years, right?
Right.
Now, this motherfucking Elizabeth Warren bitch pops up. I am CI's daughter. I'm going to get this land. My kids are like, well, hold on. Now, we know CI's people. They living over here doing their... No. I was converted into the CI dynasty. This is my shit, and fuck you. All right. Yeah. We hit her with a DNA. Well, this bitch don't have no CI genes. What the fuck?
Right.
It don't matter. Right. It don't matter. Mossad, take them out. You know, and that little report you had in your hand will burn, and your bodies will be fucking dumped into the Red Sea. That's what happens. All right, and let's not mistake what's really going down here.
Yeah,
we're really talking about a theft on a biblical proportion.
Yeah,
you are assuming the identity of people and getting real resources through that theft. Mm-hmm. All right, now that's not anti-Semite. That's actual historical fact.
Yeah.
Because I'm not talking about Semites. Mm-hmm. These are converted Jews. The real Semites, they're still scattered throughout the world. So tell me, how's the Bible prophecy supposed to be fulfilled with a bunch of fucking imposters?
Right.
That's how you know this is all just a play gag.
Yeah, it's and the Bible, you know, it's been revised, you know, edited, you know, by Johann Foss.
The Bible at best is only 1,700 years old. At best, it's only 1,700 years old. Now, you're going to sit here and suggest that all the human beings prior to the Bible coming into existence didn't have no way of finding God.
Right.
They didn't have a clue. And I'm not talking about just the people in the Middle East. I'm talking about the people over here in the Americas, people in Australia, people in Asia.
Yeah.
You see, when we start talking about Christianity and Islam and Hinduism, those and Judaism, rather, not Hinduism, Judaism, all suddenly we fucking forget about the rest of the fucking planet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh no, those motherfuckers never matter. So you're saying that God made you cool. He's gonna give you information cool, but these other motherfuckers on the other side of the planet, fuck them.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Because that's what's coming down the pike.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, when the real Jews gets back to Israel, wherever, because Israel might not be where they're saying it is.
Right.
Whenever they get back to the real Israel, when God really, Most High, calls those folks back and makes a way for them to get back, not the UN, but he makes a way for them to get back, that's when the real biblical prophecy and then peace will come.
Right.
But I'm telling you, all this bullshit, the red heifer, come on, think about it, everything's fake. The Jews over there are fake. The red heifer's fake, GMO cow. I wouldn't eat that. That's a fake ass cow. Why would you give that to God as an offering? Here, God, here's some GMO cow.
Yeah.
Good deal. You know, that's fake.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, what else is fake? Fuck. I mean, I bet you someone probably put a snake up there in the wall and watch it slither out. Oh, there's another prophecy.
Right.
We got to get real with it, man. Okay, we can either sit here and worship our ancestors and all this bullshit, or we can unite and go into the future together, united as people.
Right.
I think it would be wiser for us to put our past differences aside. Now I sound like Ronald Reagan. If we ever get attacked by the outside, then we can put our differences aside and come together. We're fools. We are being attacked from the outside.
Yeah.
It's time to come together. It's been time for a hot minute.
Sure. And then you look at the way that our government is now. I mean, it's such
Oh, they don't want no unity.
It's such dysfunction rather. Um, and like I said, I've been keeping up with what's been going on with the Mueller report and all that, and I've actually read the report. I think I'm on page like 300 something because it's 400 pages long. And other than Iran Contra and 9/11 and Watergate and Whitewater, all of the greatest scandals that has hit American history. I believe that this is the most greatest scandal out of all of it because we have so many people. It's like that's what we were saying earlier that black folks have to dance to a different tune than they do. It's like we have elected government officials that we pay their salaries through our tax money and all this stuff like that. We pay their salaries, and they're obstructing justice every single day.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Because they make the law. They Judge Dredd. I am the law.
Right.
All right. Unfortunately, my phone's about ready to die. I'm like down to 20% on battery, and it's gonna go quickly from here.
Yes, sir.
You got any other final words?
Yo, it's your boy CI, man. I just want to say thank you to TruePowerIsMine for allowing me to come onto a show tonight. If you want to know more about CI, you can Google me. You can also find my music on iTunes, Spotify, Apple Music. So if you're on Spotify or Apple Music or iTunes, add me to your playlist. You can also find me on Instagram at Cobra Mortal, Twitter.com at Cobra Mortal, Facebook.com/The Real Cobra Mortal. That is the official Facebook music fan page of CI. If you would like to make a pledge to the Cobra Mortal campaign, you can go to patreon.com/Cobra Mortal. And if you want to make a donation, paypal.com, Cobra Immortal 1@gmail.com. And then also like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just type in Cobra Immortal, separate words, and you find me there. And like I said, thank you to all the listeners and the tuning people that's tuning in right now. Appreciate it, man. And make sure you get at your boy.
Right on. Well, folks, this has been TPIM SR Live. Today's date I think is May
2nd.
Yeah, May 2nd, 2019, the year of our Lord. As always, live your life with integrity, without hate, envy, or greed. And as always, let's try to be kinder to each other. Peace.
Yes, peace.